All right, welcome to Good Friday and another new episode of Keto Rocks Radio. I'm Jim Hobbs, and to my left or right is my carnivore co-host, Brian Damage, Forsythe of the band Kix and Rhino Bucket. And it is Easter weekend, which means there are sales galore. So later on the show, we'll be bringing Mr. Brian Shanker of the MeatTribe to share those deals with you. But right now, we're going to bring in Mr. Brian Forsythe. So how's things going, Brian?
They're going.
You coming across any sales out there while you go visit the stores to check out their meat?
Yeah, well, I picked up a prime rib roast yesterday. I just happened to stop in at the store, and I didn't even know there was a sale going on. And I walked by the little bin, and I said, "Oh, what's that?" And I walk over, and there's these rib roasts in the bin. And yeah, they always put on the label the original price and then the sale price. So it was like a nice chunk off of it.
Yeah, it's always nice to get those nice deals, especially when you're not even shopping for it. So
yeah. So it's just spur of the moment. So I'm going to cook that tomorrow.
Well, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you took quite the road trip from Pittsburgh to Maryland to Nashville. So I share what, if you don't mind sharing, how long did it take you to drive a U-Haul truck or from Maryland to Nashville?
It's funny. It's funny you brought that up, because when you just asked me how are things going, I completely forgot about it. But my Waze app told me it was going to take 10 hours. Let me think of how long it actually took, because there's a time difference involved too. I went Eastern
right.
to Central, but I started out at, what was it? It was close to 7, I think, when I finally got out of there, 7 a.m. And I got here, what time was it here? So I think it was 6-ish. So it was probably 12 hours altogether.
Well, that's not too bad. And what route does it take you down? 81?
Yeah, 81 to 40. And I stopped, a few times for gas, and then I stopped in Bristol, Tennessee. Stopped at a Five Guys, had some burgers.
That's your go-to on the road.
Yeah, it seems like it when I'm on the road. I eat cheeseburgers.
So do you load that? Did you have some help in loading the truck up, or did you just have to do it all yourself, or just you and your sister, or who helped you?
Oh, my sister's husband. Most of it was in the garage, in her garage already, because the last few trips up to Maryland, I would stay an extra day, and we'd go up to my mother's house and just sort through stuff, and I'd pick stuff out. And my brothers didn't really pick a whole lot of stuff because they live on the West Coast, and they didn't feel like dealing with shipping. And this last trip was the perfect opportunity, to rent a truck and just drive the stuff back. And so I took, we played Friday. So I stayed over Friday in Pittsburgh, and then drove back down to Maryland on Saturday. And I also got to stop at Brad Diven's house and pick up my Marshall 50 that was there. I had stuff everywhere. And then in addition to all the stuff I got from my mother's house, I have been accumulating stuff at my sister's house. So I had another like mid-60s Fender Bassman head that was down in the basement. I had a road case that actually my Marshall fit in perfectly that I brought back. Some empty guitar cases, like just a bunch of stuff that just accumulated in her closet. But so most of the stuff was in her garage. We went on Sunday morning. We took one last trip up to my mother's house, and I did end up getting, and I took the van just so there was no space limits. Like if I saw something, then I would go, maybe I will take that.
Right.
And I did end up taking, I took this cool little, it's like this little skinny table thing that fits against the wall that you can put stuff on.
like a buffet table, or not a buffet? What do they call those accent tables? They go behind like your couch or against the wall.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. And when I went back up there, there was a like a coffee table and an end table, and then this small little thing, and they were all like a set. And they went with that other one. And I really only wanted the one, but then I thought, you know what? I might as well just take the whole set because they're nice.
Right.
And there were a few other things I would have liked to have taken, but I didn't really need them, and I don't really have a place to put them. So anyway, yeah. So then we brought those things back, and then we took her husband helped load all the stuff from the garage into the van. So we got everything loaded in, and it was I rented a van, but what I got was one of those huge Sprinter vans, like one of the big ones.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
So there were
like the Amazon Prime trucks that you see deliver stuff.
Yeah. It was a Mercedes. Like,
oh, they're nice. They actually drive really nice.
Yeah. So I had plenty of room. So I basically it was just one level from front to back. I didn't have to stack stuff.
Well, that makes it nice. Well, the fact that you made it in 12 hours means you must not have come across any accidents on 81 on. So
no, in fact, it was a beautiful day. When I got down closer to Tennessee, it started getting a little gusty, the wind. So that was I was like, in that tall van, it was just blowing around. But and then my last stop for gas was what was it, Knoxville, just past Knoxville. And
how much was gas in Knoxville?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't even look these days. If I need gas,
you just swipe it and pump and that's it. Move on.
Yeah. So that last one, I texted Shannon because she stayed here to watch Smokey for me, and she goes, "Where are you?" She was asking where I was, and she says, "It's pouring down rain here," and I go, "Oh, it's nice here." I said, "It's a little windy." And then as soon as I started driving, the rain came. So the last like, what was it, 65 miles? It was a torrential downpour. So that was a little rough because I was already burnt out by that point. And then I had to deal with the rain, and I could, you couldn't see that far in front of you, and the wind was blowing and the rain was coming down. But
yeah, but it wasn't. See, I can't stand. Weather used to not bother me at all, but when it gets dark and it rains, those are two things that I just cannot stand. The conditions I just do not like driving in anymore, and I try to put myself in a position where I'm not. So
that's a bad combination. When I moved here to Tennessee, was the second leg of my trip coming across, I got stuck in a horrible thunderstorm. It was in part of Texas and then Oklahoma, and it was like the clouds are so dark I couldn't tell if it was still daytime or not. And then by the time I got through the storm, it was dark, and then it just kept raining. Like every time it would start to let up, and I'd be like, "Oh, finally!" It would start coming back down again, and then there was construction on top of that. So that was like one of the worst drives. I think I ended up stopping early on the second night just because I couldn't take it anymore.
You're like, I need a break. I need to go lay down and just gather my nerves back up to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't blame you at all. Do not blame you at all. Well, you said you bought a nice piece of meat. So what smoking projects have you been working on? And share some of the you've been sharing a lot of TED Talks and some very informative videos lately in regards to keto, and so what's some of the stuff that sticks out on your let's you and I, we haven't even discussed anything, but Dr. Joan Iflin last week, the nuggets that she dropped to us and were amazing. I still haven't gotten over all the stuff that she shared, and I can't wait to have her back on the show. But anyway, what's kicking around in your mind, Brian? I'm rambling on this evening.
No, yeah, she was great. yeah, that was really cool to have her on there, or on here. Yeah, those videos, they just popped up today. I think I did a couple Dr. Berry videos, and then the two diabetes ones. The one,
Yes.
Jason Fung, that was just a short little thing, but it simplified it and sort of showed you what goes on in your bloodstream when you ingest glucose and what your insulin has to do to deal with it. And then the TED Talk one was really good too. And I forget how I stumbled onto that one. It might have been somebody may have posted that in the carnivore page, on the carnivore page.
Right.
I went to YouTube to watch it, and it was so good. I was like, I have to post this. It's just too good. So
No, it was great to see another doctor literally telling the truth about it is reversible, and then why they put most Americans who go see a doctor, why they prescribe that and why they keep them on carbs. So that you need the carbs in order to take the food to help dilute the side effects, and it just becomes this vicious cycle. And the reality of it is, she did a great job in simplifying what she does for her patients, which is to help them become a very low carb eater, in regards to following most advice that is given from the medical profession. It's really sad what has been prescribed to the American patient who goes to a doctor to find out, how do I get better? And
yeah, you just mentioned that vicious cycle of, they put you on those meds to bring your blood sugar down. So then if you cut down on your carbs, which you should, because that's what's causing this whole thing to begin with, your blood sugar, because you're on those meds, drops too far. So you have to keep eating the carbs so that the meds don't make it fall too far, and then it just perpetuates the whole thing. And it just, it just keeps on moving forward, and your meds keep going up, and so does your weight and everything else.
yeah, I mean,
it's just bad. It's like, and they know this, but for them to not do it that way, they would lose billions of dollars.
yeah. Well, it's no different than, I mean, we've talked about this on the show, and even Dr. Iflin talked about it. It's not the doctors, the people go into the medical profession because they want to help people, but then they get trained, or better yet, programmed. And basically they're programmed with the ability you're going to become a pill pusher for big pharma, and you're going to dispense this type of advice. And if you don't, then you may be reprimanded, or you may lose your license, or you get blackballed. And that's the reality of the world that we operate in right now.
Right. Yeah. They have no say in what they can do. I mean, they're just stuck in this little, narrow little path that they have to stay on, and the ones that try to go outside of it are the ones that sometimes, like Dr. Berry's really good at, like, he'll give advice about how to get around something like that without causing like this ruckus.
Right.
Because there's a way to do it so it looks like the doctor's doing his job, but you're getting the results that you really need.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be well, the cool thing is you're seeing more and more doctors, like, I forget her name in that TED Talk video that you posted on Wednesday, but it's great to see, like, Dr. Iflin, Dr. Ken Berry, all the other people who are pro carnivore or pro keto lifestyle there seems to be a groundswell coming up. And it's awesome to be able to see, because more and more people are beginning to understand what they've been told is in their best interest is not really in their best interest. So it's great to see, boots on the ground start to question what they've been shown or taught or prescribed, and start going the other direction, doing their own research like you've done, and many others, including myself and Peggy. And And it's great to see people with credentials backing up with science what we know just by going out there and eliminating sugar and incorporating just eating one meal a day or being a carnivore. You know, you can't take away your experiences. You can't discount your experiences. When you eat meat, you have more energy, you feel better. When you do the intermittent fasting, when you do the 1 meal a day, it's amazing. And the people who you see who are struggling out there with obesity or struggling with their energy levels, you know, what I'm finding out is most of the time when I talk to those individuals, they've had some procedure done, or they're on so many different statins and prescriptions and supplements and everything. And they're told, for, you know, it's hitting me now as I'm you know, describing this, but same way that the insulin, they're told to eat that way so they can take the medication so it does its job. But the reality of it is you're saying, here, take this poison and now take this milk afterwards, and keep doing that, and you're gonna live a long life. We're gonna be able to control it. But
well, it's weird because it starts with the food that's poisonous,
right.
and then you take the pill to counteract the poisonous food, but the pill's poison, and the only thing to keep the pill from being poison is to eat more of the poison food.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't think that we're rat in the wheel and that's all we're doing, I just hope everybody begins to understand so they can break free from that cycle. Because once you break free from that cycle, you'll start to feel better on your own. You'll start to realize that your health is in your control. And it really does come down as simple as what you feed your body is going to fuel your health or fuel your necessity to go see a doctor and get put on a drug. That's really your choices.
Well, yeah. And that's the other thing too. If you ever notice, even like the American Diabetes Association, when they talk about, you know, diabetes and medication, they talk about managing diabetes. They never talk about reversing it. They never mention that. Like, they don't even let you know that it's possible. It's crazy. It's all about managing it.
You know, that's a good point. And that is the verbiage that they use almost in everything. Oh, we can manage that. You know, you'll probably be able to live another 10 or 15.
Well, same with pain. Pain, they treat the same way. They manage pain instead of like going to the source and figuring out why you're in pain or, you know, trying to do something about that. They just put you on these meds that manage the pain.
Right.
So that way you're just strung out forever, literally.
Well, yeah. Well, it's no different than, you know, we've been taught, you know, when you have a fever, when you get a fever, you got to take something to lower the fever. Yet we just don't embrace that's the body doing what it's supposed to be doing. Your body is burning out and attacking what's making you sick. So you got to let the fever do its job. But we've been so told by the medical profession that, or the big pharma, because, you know, you got to take this to lower your fever. And of course, when you lower your fever, you're now losing, you're lowering the ability of your body, your immune system, to be able to attack how it attacks. It'd be like, you know, you up on stage and they try and unplug you from the amp. It'd say, Brian, keep playing. We're gonna dub in your part here. It just doesn't make sense that we literally lower your body's response with a fever to eliminate the fever so you don't feel so sluggish. And yet, if you really just kept yourself hydrated and let your fever flush out what it's trying to do, you'd be better off. And when I say better off, you'd be well much quicker than just extended it out.
Well, right. And your body will learn how to deal with that, because when you squash your body's ability to handle it on its own, it never learns how to. But that's just like, well, like that other video I did, I posted of Dr. Barry about the swelling, the same thing, you know, they give you anti-inflammatories to deal with swelling if you twist your ankle or something. And really that there's a purpose. I mean, the fever is there for a purpose. The swelling is there for a purpose. And, you know, everybody's quick to just eliminate that part of the process. And that's a very important part of the process. I mean, your body, like Dr. Barry always says, your body's not stupid.
No. Yeah. You gotta, you know, and I think I don't know if we've been dumbed down over the years, or we just don't take time to, like you say, trust the process. Like, trust your body. Let your body's built for you to survive. It's built for you to survive, and it's built for you to thrive, and just not to be managed so you can get by in life. It's meant for you to be able to thrive and to enjoy life at its fullest. But when you're constantly putting poison in your body and then following it up with poison, with the pills and that vicious cycles, all you're doing is breaking down your body. You're basically numbing your body. And it finally goes, you know what? I got no responsibilities here, because this joker here is taking all this stuff and just keeps overriding and vetoing what I want to do to keep us alive. So you know what? I throw my hands up. I surrender. You let those pills keep. And you know, it's a sad, vicious cycle. And in talking last week, hearing about what the tobacco companies have done in purchasing the food companies, and then what they were able to do at a much faster rate and at an all age group, it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's criminal, really.
It should be criminal. And I don't understand for the life of me how, in good conscience, we can serve sugar, which is the most addictive substance on the planet, to kids and to patients in hospitals. You know, at the very least, show some humility and appreciate humanity by not poisoning them when they're going to a place for they're trusting you with their health. And to turn around and feed them poison, it's tragic to see how the whole system's become. And the only way it's going to become any better if we just stop participating in it and we start to take back our decisions ourselves and realize, you know what, I'd rather me die by my sword than to die by their surgical knife or their big pharma prescriptions or their satin drugs. Billy Willis, our friend up in Delaware, what he's going through and the struggles he's going through with what he's hearing from the doctors versus what he knows what his body needs to do. But, you know, there's Billies all around us. I mean, you come across them every day. All you got to do is walk in the grocery store, walk in a Walmart. You will see those people who are obese, and you know, it's not really their fault, as Dr. Iflin said, is, you know, they're just bombarded with the marketing. They're bombarded with the advice. They're, you know, when it says heart healthy cereal, a parent who doesn't know any better thinks they're giving their kid heart healthy cereal.
Yeah. I mean, before I jumped into all this stuff and, you know, did all the research, I fell for half that stuff too. The whole low fat thing, you know, the oatmeal is healthy.
Oh,
all that stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You don't know because you just figure they're telling you the truth. You don't really think about it, you know, until somebody lets you know.
Yeah. And it's so true. I mean, I lived off of oatmeal because it's what everybody who I went to, my doctor, I went to a weightlifting specialist. Oh yeah, you want to get up in the morning, you want to eat oatmeal. Oatmeal's the best thing you can do for your body. So that's what I did.
And it had the heart healthy.
The heart healthy, yes.
All that junk. And it's like, no, it's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
People still argue about it.
Well, there, if someone wants to eat that way, that's their life and their health. I'm just telling you that when I ate that way, I never felt great. I only, I had a bunch of issues, and I go back and I can show my pictures from my late 20s and especially my 30s and 40s, where you can see the impact of me living what I was told to eat and how and what to eat and the pills that I was on. You can see just how inflamed and how unhealthy I am. I look at those pictures and there's reminders of my moments in time of where I was taking their advice and taking their pills. And, now, I mean, I'm older than I've ever been today. And,
Yeah, me too.
and if you're watching that, so are you. But, I literally feel better now than I felt in my 30s and the 40s. I mean, I feel great. And so, what I was expecting when I turned 50 was, you're going to start having aches and pains, and you're going to start, having these issues and these issues, and it's just part of life. Well, I look at people now and I go, what are you talking about? I feel better now than I ever have. I have more energy. I want to go do stuff. I'm active. And I love going boating and swimming and all those things. And I want people out there to realize that, when you're 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, look, you don't have to have those aches and pains. You just don't. I mean, you may have them here and there just by, I still get sore if I overexert myself and doing an activity, but I recover quickly and I feel great. And, I just want people to be able to enjoy life and thrive in life, and stop having somebody who's not even related to you tell you that we can manage that for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've never felt better. I've never been in this good a shape my whole life. I mean, yeah. I was never like crazy out of shape, but I would exercise here and there, but I didn't have a routine. I wasn't eating good. I mean, I sort of, I'm not like crazy junk food eater, but I definitely had a sweet tooth and I wouldn't turn down cookies or carrot cake. But now, now that I've cut all that stuff out and and it's a long, slow process. And that's another thing, I feel like I had like two lives, the one before I got sober, and then this life after I got sober. And they're both great, but the other one didn't end very well. but in reality it did, because now I'm here. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened. But now it's like this process, because I started when Kix got back together in 2003. That's when, I think I mentioned this before, that's when I saw Steve first time in 10 years, and he was in shape, and I'm like, wow, how'd you do that? And I had been working at the pet clinic, and the pet clinic, they had in the lounge, we'd have all these sweets, and clients would drop off donuts and muffins, and so I wasn't in like horrible shape, but I wasn't in the best shape either at that point. And when I saw Steve, it was like, wow, how did you do that? And that's when my journey started, my health journey. And right. And I look back, and that was a while ago, 2003.
I know. Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's almost 20 years ago. And it's taken me this long. It's just a slow thing. But now, all of a sudden, like in this last couple of years, like all the workouts that I've done, that consistency, that I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And I'm not some guy that goes to the gym and kills myself, but I think it's just the consistency. I just sort of had the patience to go through it, and I've come out the other side, and it's just like, wow, it works. You know,
I think what you just
all that stuff.
I think what you just described, Brian, as a kid, we breathe the story of the rabbit and the tortoise, and we all go, there's no way the tortoise beats the rabbit. And I think the true lesson is like you just said, the true lesson is when you do those little things, but you do them consistently every day, that's where you win the race. You win the race when you do those small things. And when the stuff that you don't do right, or you didn't know you were doing wrong, let's just put it that way, and you make changes and you start to implement the wisdom that your experiences are feeding you, and you're able to put everything, and well, the main thing is you have to be open. You got to be open to what's coming your way. You also got to be open to be able to stand in front of the mirror and realize, that probably wasn't the smartest thing for me to do. And probably that's not something I should keep incorporating in my diet, or no matter what it is, or I should keep incorporating it in my life, because it doesn't really maximize how I feel. It detracts. It takes me a couple of days to recover from that night bender or whatever it is. But when you start to incorporate those life lessons that we learn, and you start to do, and you don't have to go, like you said, so if someone's watching this, they go, well, I just can't do that. Well, just do something very simple. I mean, instead of eating a pound, instead of putting a tablespoon of sugar on your cereal, I just can't eat cereal without the sugar on it. All right. Instead of putting 2 teaspoons, just put 1. See if that goes. And then once you're comfortable with 1, see if you can do a half, and then see if you can do it without it. And then keep going down the path. Don't need the cereal, don't need the milk. And just making those little slight changes will give you, you'll be surprised when you wake up 20 years later and go, wow, I feel pretty good.
The same thing goes with those little changes, like everything. I remember growing up, my dad, he would every once in a while, maybe it'd be like a New Year's resolution, or something, he'd all of a sudden he'd get it in his mind that he wanted to get in shape and start exercising again. And then he'd I don't know if he actually got a gym membership or whatever, or get some kind of gadget to start working out. And he'd want to do it all in one day. And then he'd end up hurting himself. And then by the end of the week, he's flat on his back, and that's, I kind of learned from him. So, anytime that I would try to exercise, I'd expect to see results by the end of the week. And I finally had to just let go of that. And the tortoise and the rabbit thing comes into play. And the same thing with say my sobriety. It's just a consistent day at a time thing. And I just do the same routine every day and just keep it up. And it just adds up, Pretty soon you're 20 years down the road, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. I was talking with someone on another subject matter. I might have been Peggy. I had this revelation, and it's on the same topic matter. If we were shown everything, I relate it to, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one spoonful at a time, or one bite at a time. And same goes with truth. People say, oh, I just want to know everything. I want to know everything. But we probably really could handle the truth, just like you said. So if we try to devour or bring in the whole truth all at once, take it all in at once, it would probably choke us to death, because that's us trying to eat the whole elephant in one bite, and it's just not possible. It will literally smother you, and you won't be able. But if you eat that elephant one bite at a time, a little bit each day, over the course of 20 years, you will have devoured the elephant, and you still will have all that wisdom and all that truth inside of you. But now it's a part of your life. You don't go like your dad. And I've done that. Look, I've done what your dad's done many times. I think we as a society, we're in a microwave society. We want something, we want it now. You know, I'm on a diet. I want to lose weight. I want to lose it right now. But we don't think that gaining the weight took us eating more than we should, or eating the wrong foods day after day after day after day. And so how do you reverse that? You don't take as many bites. You start to find out what foods you should be eating and not eating them. And over time, you get yourself to the point like where you're at, Brian, and where I am, and a lot of the others, where you realize that, you know, I don't need to eat 5 to 7 small meals a day. I don't even need to eat 3 meals a day. I just need to eat 1 meal a day and eat the right food that fuels my body, that my body responds to, and I'm fine. And it's so freeing because, you know, you eat in a small window, you have so many hours of the day to do other things. Like for you, you watched a couple of videos, you watched a lot of YouTube videos today. But if you're always thinking about food and you're always eating something, you're not going to have time to be able to dedicate to something else that could benefit you, or to, and I say open-minded. I'm sure you watch videos that go, you know what, that doesn't resonate with me. I don't think that would work for me. I don't want to try it. It doesn't make sense to me. It goes against what I believe in or what I've experienced. And then there's stuff that you watch and go, that's really good. I got to share that. That's worked for me. I got to share that. So I think we as a society really need to take a break and take a breath and realize that we don't need to do it all in one day or all in one sitting. And I think as we're talking through this, I think that's really is the difference between taking healthcare into your own possession as opposed to going to someone who's saying, take this pill, you're going to be okay. We can manage what you got. And if you want to just be managed.
Yeah. And really the pill method, I mean, some people probably need medicine here and there, but that, you know, the basic pill method that the most of, you know, the most doctors put you on the pills. It's like a, you know, the person, Smokey's feeder. Most of the, what it is that, you know, the person doesn't really want to change what they're doing. They want to be able, it's a convenient way to deal with it. You just take the pill and then you can just keep doing what you're doing and let the pill, you know, deal with the harm that you're doing to yourself with the food, but it's not really dealing with it. It's just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the whole problem with that. It's like a lot of people, they're too lazy to want to go to the root of the problem and take care of it.
Uh-oh. All right, it's that time of the evening where we get a chance to check in with Mr. Brian Shanker of the MeatTribe YouTube channel for those meat deals of the week, and it's Easter weekend, so hopefully that means we're going to have some great sales. So make us happy.
I've got a lot of good sales. So
that's what I'm gonna do.
There's ham on sale, and there's ham on sale, and there's ham on sale, and there's ham on sale. There's ham on sale everywhere. But I digress. Let's get to the good stuff. Food Lion, they've got a deal going through the 19th, choice grade boneless ribeye steaks. Ribeye steaks for $7.99 per pound.
Okay.
Aldi through the 19th, they've got some choice grade chuck roast for $4.89 per pound. That's a good price there. Our favorite, Harris Teeter, we're back in business. They've got the rancher grade bone-in rib roast or steaks for $7.99 per pound, or the choice grade bone-in rib roast or steaks for $8.99 per pound. So our buddies over at Harris Teeter, they're back with the sales. They also continued the sale with the bone-in short ribs at $5.99 per pound and the boneless short ribs for $7.99 per pound. And these are all choice grade, and the brisket roast for $6.99 per pound and the whole brisket flat for $6.99 per pound. So a lot of good deals at Harris Teeter. And Brian, for you two down in, and all those deals go through the 19th. I don't know if I said. And then at Kroger, they've got their rib roast choice grade bone-in rib roast for $6.97 per pound with a $25 purchase.
He's already beat you to the punch. Look at that big old smile. Oh gosh, look at that big old hunk of meat.
Wow. Nice.
I'm cooking that tomorrow.
Nice. So they've got two different rib roasts on sale. One is the choice grade. Both of them are bone-in for $6.97, but then they had this it's called Private Selection Angus ribeye roast. Which one did you get? Just the regular Kroger or Private Selection?
Yeah, the private one. Private Select.
So that was $7.99 per pound. And then Giant Eagle still has their deal going through the 20th with the 80% lean ground beef value pack for $2.99 per pound, and certified Angus beef bone-in New York strip steak value pack for $9.99 per pound. Figured there's some people out there that like New York strips over ribeyes. I don't know why, but they're out there. So I'd throw a New York strip in there. And so that's all the deals I had. I did smoke my third pork butt this past weekend. It was a 12-hour smoke, and I let it rest for an hour. Got up, I had that thing going on at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm hesitant to try a smoke overnight because I'm scared that I'm either going to ruin the meat or something's going to catch on fire.
I can relate.
So
propane runs. You got propane or you got chips? What do you have for your smoker?
It's pellet, so it's electric. It's electric.
Yeah,
so pellet.
Well, that's
run out of pellets.
That's a little safer than say a charcoal smoker or whatever, or a wood smoker.
Yeah. I was thinking about I could put it out in the center of the yard, and so my garage is detached, so it's the house, the yard, then the garage. So I was thinking, why plug it in the garage? So if the outlet catches on fire, it'll just burn up our cars in the garage. That's all.
Get insurance. That's what insurance is for.
Yeah. So I don't have the confidence yet to do an overnight smoke, but it's I'm gonna have to either start buying smaller cuts of meat so I can get those done, because 12-hour smoke with an hour rest, that's 8 o'clock at night. It was finally done. So I actually just tasted it, put it in the refrigerator, and heated up the next day, and it's been fantastic.
I've had to do that where, it's done way too late, and I just like, oh man, I wish I could eat some. But so what temperature did you do it?
225.
Okay, I think I do it was the pork butt.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I do mine a little hotter than that, maybe 250, 275 even. So it doesn't take as long.
So my smoker, it's entry-level smoker. I actually have it set at 300. So anything under 300, the temperature fluctuates all over the place. It'll go down to 180. It'll go up to 225, 275, down to 180. So when I put it at 300, the control board says it's at 300, and then the dome temp says it'll be around 225.
Okay.
Definitely, less than 220 or 250. So I'm thinking between the two, I'm averaging somewhere around 225, 230. And then like I said, anything 300 or above, it's real consistent. But I don't have a 325 setting, so it goes 300 to 350.
Oh, right.
So I'm learning the things for the next smoker that I get. I'm like making my list of all the finer details. A Wi-Fi control board that connects to Wi-Fi would be good. I use my ThermalWorks dot probe, and that connects. But it would be nice to have the controller so I could see the controller temps too.
Yeah.
Well, put that on your list of things to get, and who knows, what may come your way.
Yeah, it is on my list. That and a long slicing knife. I need something, for cutting those rib roasts. I don't have a knife.
You need the Dexter. You need the Dexter knife.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I need to get, one of those, because the knife, I just have like a chef knife, and it's not long enough to be able to cut it and keep the slices even. So that and some meat claws. Do you guys have meat claws for your pork butt, or you just use a big fork?
No, I do, but I don't even know if I use mine.
Yeah, I don't have the meat. I know what they're talking about. I've seen Brian's. We just use a big old fork and shred it.
Well, with mine, because I usually only take it off as much as I'm going to eat, and then I leave the rest in one piece, so it doesn't get all dried out.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
So the meat claws are better for if you're just going to just shred the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what and this last time I actually didn't need to even use the fork. I did it with my hands. I was able to just break it apart. It was this has been the best one so far out of the 3 I've done.
Well, good for you. The talking about overnight stuff, I have no problem in sous vide for 30 hours or overnight, doing it at night and knowing in the morning when I get up, I'm gonna, pull it out, let it rest, and I'll finish it up on the smoker to get the smoke it. But I came across I think I posted about it, but I went to Giant this week. You talking about hams. They had hams for 77 cents a pound.
Wow.
So they were normally $22. I got them for $7 a piece. So I bought every one they had there and then they had prime rib, which was like over half price. It was crazy. So I bought one of those because I didn't have my prime rib shelf in the freezer's full. But I bought that knowing full well I wasn't going to put it in the freezer. I was going to cook that, which I did. I did it differently this time. I did it at 130. I read a recipe, 131 degrees for 8 hours.
Okay.
And then I put it right into an ice bath for 10 minutes, and then I put it right back into the oven at 475 for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I did 15 minutes, and it came out perfect. I mean, it was edge to edge, medium rare. It came out great. So
yeah, I saw your pictures. They look good.
Yeah, I always love, even the people at the checkout counter goes, wow, you saved more than you spent. I said, I love when that happens. So anyway, well, Brian, what you doing for Easter?
Which one?
You, since you're the MeatTribe Brian, MTB.
Yeah, no. So our spring break starts on Friday. So the kids are off Friday. Tomorrow's the last day before spring break.
Okay.
But we don't typically do anything special. But my mom's birthday is on the 18th also. So we always go up, right, and visit her to celebrate her birthday right around this time. So we're going to be going up there Monday or Tuesday. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, tell your mother happy birthday and happy Easter. So, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing those deals. And for those out there who want to find more deals during the week, how do they find you, Brian?
Go to the MeatTribe channel on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, and that brings up a point. So I'm always talking about these same stores on your podcast: Food Lion, Aldi, Harris Teeter, Kroger, and Giant Eagle. And the main reason for that is the other 3 stores that I go and report on, they don't release their sale data until tomorrow, the day after we record. So there's also going to be information for Weiss, Giant, and Safeway on the longer update that I do on the MeatTribe channel on YouTube.
Well, thank you very much, and we will see you next Friday.
Sounds
Have a great
good.
week. All right.
Take
care.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. We'll see you.
Bye.
All kinds of stuff's going on.
You got Edmund Mann's at your door, the big old publishing clearinghouse check. Too bad. I mean, I think he's dead. So if he shows up at your door, that's going to be a miracle.
I think it was a FedEx delivery or something.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, so where's what you doing this weekend, and where's Kix? Is Kix playing this week?
No, I'm off this weekend.
Awesome. So, well, that's good. It's a good break after you did the 12-hour marathon trip from Maryland to Tennessee.
Yeah.
So.
They may need a signature.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll pause it.
Yeah, usually they just drop it at the door, but I guess he needed didn't even need a signature. He just had to verify that I was the one receiving it.
Brian, it is that time of the show where we get a chance to allow you to give advice. Let me just take that back, because what I do want to say this before you say this. You're hearing us talk about doctors and not taking meds and all that. I hope you hear our hearts. We're not telling you to go against what your doctor is prescribing to you at all. I mean, definitely there's some people who probably their life depends on the medication. So just if you're watching this, just don't stop and say, all right, I'm tracking with you guys. No, what we're saying is start to do those small steps, and over time, we believe even your doctor will say, you know what, you don't need this blood pressure, you don't need this insulin. I don't know what you're doing, but we don't need for you to take your insulin shot anymore. You're no longer a diabetic. So that's all we're saying to you. We're just saying we believe you are in control of your health care, and that's something not to give away to somebody else. Take it serious.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, you can't just blindly, follow somebody's advice when, you do the research and just make sure you're on the right track.
Yeah. And don't wait like I did till, I'm at 40s and then take a step back, and then in your 50s realize this is what I got to do, or else I'm not going to see the latter parts of my life. And I think you will also experience the same that we have. Those who have taken the steps, I think you'll begin to realize that life just begins when you start to appreciate that you're in control of your life. So with that being said, I know if you made it this far in the show, I usually ask Brian, what bit of advice would you give somebody to improve their immune? All right, to improve their immune system, make them stronger. What would you say to them, Brian?
I would say, eat your meat.
And you don't have to eat it all at one time. One bite at a time is all it takes.
Yeah, one slice at a time.
All right. Well, with that being shared with you, we hope everybody has a great Easter weekend. We appreciate you joining us, and we will look forward to seeing you guys next Friday night. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and stay out of that hospital. See you, everybody.